Alrighty, so I'm going to run through the staining and drying process real quick here. So all I do is wad up the paper, throw it into my tea. I let it sit for a few, 30 seconds to a minute or so. Drain it, and then I just set it out here. And I don't have a lot of space, so I'm able to set 4 sheets of paper out to dry. So what I've decided to do is alter that a little bit to help get my paper done a little bit quicker. So what I'm doing is I'm using these cans here. Let me get this other one out. There we go. Now I have the oven set on the lowest setting possible, which is 170 degrees. So I'm basically setting them in the oven, and I leave them in there for a couple minutes. I check them after a couple minutes. They're dry. I take them out. If they're still a little damp, I leave them in for a minute or two more. But basically that's what it is. So that's kind of helping my process a little bit. I'm drying 2 of them, and then I have enough of space over here for 4 to sit. Alright, so here we are. Here's the whole process. So you've got those pages in there. A few minutes. See how nice, and so these are done. So I pull those out. Pretty decent. Take these pages over here, stick them on, and they go in there. That sets up. This page will come out, set there. I'll take the page, stick that in there, let that soak for a few minutes, and then the whole process just keeps circulating. So as that whole thing goes through, here's a stack of papers that I've already gotten done. Pretty nice. So what's going to happen is I'll just get a lot of these done, and then what I'll do is I'll press them to try to get them somewhat flattened out, but I still want the wrinkles. The wrinkles will still be there, but at least I'll flatten them out a little bit, and then it'll get ready for me to bind them together to get into the book. So here are 100 pages of the tea-stained paper, and these have been pressed for a while. I've had these pressed for a while, so they're doing pretty good. Here's an extra 10 just in case, but I'm going to go ahead and, because the bottom 20 haven't been pressed yet, I'm going to go ahead and press these, and then we'll continue. Alrighty, so I find myself in a little bit of a quandary here, somewhat of a pickle. The problem is I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different kinds, colors of leathers. Originally I was just going to use this gray. Then I kind of looked around, and I've also got some red. I've got some black. And this is some hide that is actually a deer. I skinned it, I tanned it. As a matter of fact, this is just a small piece of what's left. I actually made a pair of moccasins out of this deer hide, which I do have a video on my channel showing those, but neither here nor there. The problem is I can't decide what to use for the strap. I have decided, I think, to just use one, because I think that's all I'm going to need. I'll secure it on the back end here, and then I'll have a secure here on the front. Like this, I'll put holes in it, place holes down it, and maybe just use one of those brads to stick in there, and then I can take it and open it up and open it, and it still stays secure. But I'm only going to need one, but it's neither here nor there at this point. The problem is deciding which one looks the best with the purple. I've asked a couple people, and I've got all of them are fine. One said, well, the black and the red looks good, and the others go, no, I like the black and the gray. And so I don't know. I'm going to have to sit and think about it for a little bit, but when I decide what one I'm going to use, and personally I'm kind of leaning more towards the raw hide, the actual deer skin that I worked myself, because I think it would just I don't know, just make it more special. Alrighty, so having all four of these, the red one, the gray one, the black one, and the natural colored one, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and make a strap out of each one of them, because it can be interchangeable. And I do have one here that I am going to use as a test. So I'm going to do this one just to see how it turns out, and if I mess this one up, it's okay, because it's alright. But what I'm going to do is I'll set it here, and I'll put a brad in it right here, and then when I close it up, I'll also have it back here, and I'll put another brad in it so that it stays closed. Now, the brads come out easily, so that's how I'll open it and close it, but it's also how I'll change them out. So what I'm going to do here is I'll put a hole using this leather punch here. I'm going to put a hole here, and like a belt loop, I'll put holes all the way down it. So let's get going on that. Alrighty, so we'll turn this backwards here, set that there. And I'll just make a little mark right there. That's where the brad is going to go, right there. So I'll pop that. Let me get this out of the way. Let's see here. I'm going to use, I think I'll use that one there. I think that'll be big enough. Measure this and make sure I get it. Didn't quite have that centered. That's better. There we go. Nice little hole. Let's pull the brad out here real quick and make sure that that'll actually fit. Well, what do you know, look at that. Fits right up in there. Alright, so what I'm going to do, just to start off, get it centered here. There we go. we'll just start off every inch. And I think I'll leave this, well, that's the 10-inch one. I think that's a little close, but we'll see what we got. Go ahead and make our holes. Alrighty, there we go. Before I put the holes in that very last one, I'm going to take a look here because I'm not 100% sure I want to put a hole that close. There. And then see how that works. That closes up like that. I'll probably put the brad right here. That way if I ever want to tighten it up, I can pull this tighter. Not that it'll go that tight. I think that'll probably be about as tight as it'll ever get. Let's see here. We'll open it up at full. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to open it up at full, and then mark that as where I'll put the brad. So now all I got to do is mark the book and put a hole in the book. And I'm going to use my Dremel for that.